This week, we saw just how much life is left in the Steam Deck, and we'll discuss. Plus, a stable SteamOS upgrade hints at a bright future, and EmuDeck has had to make hard decisions in the wake of the Yuzu scandal. All of this and more today. So let's get right into the Linux gaming news. So right off the bat, I wanted to talk about OpenRCT2. If you're not familiar, OpenRCT2 is a game engine that's meant to use the Roller Coaster Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 assets, and it's basically an open source remake of the game. And I wanted to talk about the game because I think it's pretty neat. The first big improvement that they added was the Ukrainian translation of the game. You also now have control over hidden scenery. There are new colors for guests that they can choose when they spawn. You can now build partly underground. And they've restored several pieces of Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 content, including jet ski colors, ride and vehicle objects, scenery items, walls, and more, along with a host of fixes for the game. Now, OpenRCT2 is really easy to install. If you want to try it on your Steam Deck, you can use the Flatpak through the Discover Store in desktop mode. However, it should be noted that OpenRCT2 requires a legit digital copy of the game, either distributed through Steam or GOG. Otherwise, you're kinda out of luck. All right, next up, if you know me, you know that I really dislike cars. I don't like driving, I hate how loud and destructive they are, so I think that it's really weird that I love racing games. Car games in general, really, especially older and arcadey ones. And that's why I'm excited about this. The critically acclaimed FlatOut, which is a title that was released way back in 2005, recently got an update that brought with it deck verified status. Now, this update also removes the game's DRM. It's on sale right now too, so why not pick it up and have yourself some fun? Now, before we move on, I want to thank this video's sponsor, Fume. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. And we're not talking about your Uncle Ted's latest conspiracy either. No, we're talking about our sponsor Fume and how they look at today's problems in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural delicious flavors. And y'all get it, right? Like, instead of the bad, Fume is bringing the good. It's a habit that you're free to enjoy, and it makes replacing your bad habit easy. Fume fills the void in a natural, guilt-free way. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial, and it's designed with movable parts and magnets for you to fidget with, which helps take the stress out of breaking your bad habit. And what's more is that Fume's base was launched in January. It's a weighted stand that you can rest your Fume on when you're not using it, fitted with a magnet inside to keep your Fume attached. And the device can even be spun around on it for your fidgeting needs. When I first heard about Fume, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I can honestly say that I was surprised at how flavorful and aromatic the cores were. And I like to use my Fume after dinner as a guilt-free replacement for my dessert. And one of my favorite flavors is raspberry lemon. It's delicious, and it smells so good. Stopping bad habits is something we all put off because it's hard to do, but switching to Fume is easy and enjoyable. Fume has served over 150,000 customers with thousands of success stories to its name, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup with destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com/Gardiner Bryant or scan the QR code on screen and use Gardiner Bryant to get 10% off when you check out the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use code Gardiner Bryant to save an additional 10% off your order today. And thank you to Fume for sponsoring this video. All right, next up, let's talk about how Valve detailed the most played games in February on the Steam Deck. And it's probably the biggest monthly shakeup that we've seen so far. Now, these are the top 20 most played games on Steam Deck in February, ranked by hours played. At number 1, we have Palworld, and I'm kind of shocked that they're still at number 1 as their player base seemed to significantly shrink halfway through February. But it is still at number 1 here, so that's pretty cool. Next, we have Baldur's Gate 3, then we have Persona 3 Reload, Elden Ring, and then a slew of newcomers. At number 4, we have Helldivers 2, number 5, we have Granblue Fantasy Relink, and number 6, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Then we have the Steam Deck staple Stardew Valley, followed by Deep Rock Galactic, Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter World, Balatro, which looks very interesting to me, Grand Theft Auto 5, Diablo 4, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, Red Dead Redemption 2, Skyrim, Hogwarts Legacy, Persona 5 Royal, and Hades. The fact that we saw so many new titles added to this list gives me hope. I mean, you hear it all the time that the Steam Deck isn't powerful enough to play new AAA games, and yet here are 5 highly anticipated titles, all of them 3D, all of them at least moderately demanding on modern hardware, and they're some of the most played games on Steam Deck. Don't listen to the FOMO and the propaganda, my guys. Steam Deck is a platform, and developers are targeting it. And with that, we're going to segue into, will Horizon Forbidden West actually run on the Steam Deck? Now, that's a question that a lot of folks are asking after Sony released the minimum specifications for the game. Now, the absolute minimum requirement to play the game at 720p 30 FPS will require an Intel Core i3-8100 or a Ryzen 3 1300X, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a GTX 1650 4GB, or a Radeon RX 5500 XT 4GB. Now, the Steam Deck should easily meet or exceed all of those requirements. So let's be honest, I mean, at 30 FPS, that's not going to be a huge win for the Steam Deck. But can we anticipate higher than 30 FPS frame rates for this game? It's important to note that the Steam event posting that revealed these specs mentions presets for handhelds. This ties into what I was saying before. The deck has firmly established itself as a platform, and studios are targeting it. This is not only a good thing for Steam Deck owners, but it's good for PC gaming as a whole. Whether or not the game is going to run at a comfortable 40 frames a second remains to be seen, but Horizon Forbidden West is a PS4 game, so I would not be surprised if it runs pretty well on the Steam Deck. Alright, so GDQ is upon us, and Humble is celebrating with a new bundle. This one has 7 indie games. Now, the only game in this bundle that I have played personally is Abzu, but by itself, Abzu costs $20 on Steam, so this bundle being only $10 for 7 games, I'd say that it's worth it for that deal alone. Again, I haven't tried the other games, but Dicey Dungeons, Guilt, and Abzu are verified, while the others are playable. Definitely, this seems like a good deal in my book. And you can use my affiliate link below to support the devs, charity, and this channel. And if you use my affiliate link, thank you. Alright, in the wake of the Yuzu Nintendo fiasco, EmuDeck has announced that they're removing Yuzu and Citra from their app. This means that you'll no longer be able to use EmuDeck to install and pre-configure Yuzu and Citra games. Thankfully, Ryujinx is still available in EmuDeck, but as for a 3DS emulator, we're out of luck, at least for now. EmuDeck's developers say that they're investigating Panda 3DS to fill the gap, but we'll see when or even if that's going to happen. Thankfully, if you've already got Yuzu and or Citra installed through EmuDeck, upgrading to the new version won't remove those emulators, and why should it, right? But it is recommended that you update soon because Yuzu and Citra's GitHub pages are deleted now, so you're going to run into issues with EmuDeck if you try to use older versions. Plus, there's new emulator support in the latest version of EmuDeck, so you get Flycast, Big Puma, and Sega Model 2 and 3. Pretty great to see here. But speaking of Yuzu, more details seem to have emerged, at least some allegations in the Yuzu saga, and I really wanted to touch on this. According to this YouTube short from @ShroYT, they've detailed allegations of how Yuzu's developers were secretly hoarding and passing around Switch ROMs days before they were available to the public. The question is, how is this possible? And the answer is that we don't know yet. But in the suit brought against Yuzu's devs, Nintendo detailed how day one access for games were usually completed the day before the publication date. If these allegations are true, then Yuzu's developers were not behaving above board, and they put profit ahead of the legitimacy of the entire emulation scene. And if it's true, I am equally upset with them as I am with Nintendo. In Nintendo's brief, they also claim that Yuzu collected telemetry about the games being played by users. Now, this telemetry included the hardware that was being used to run Yuzu. Allegedly, in their settlement, Yuzu has turned over this telemetry to Nintendo, and we will see what comes of it, if anything. I'm curious if Nintendo will use this telemetry to attack the Steam Deck or open source handhelds. I mean, since Yuzu was pretty popular on Deck, and Lord knows Nintendo doesn't care at all about what is ethical or reasonable when it comes to lawsuits, I'm kind of nervous. If these allegations are true, it still doesn't change the fact that I'm done with Nintendo. And if they are true, then I am very disappointed in Yuzu because they put in jeopardy the entire emulation world. Now, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of this. Feed the engagement algorithm and sound off in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure you like that smash button. You can also get subscribed if you want to see weekly videos just like this. But if you're tired of having YouTube's fickle whims cramming the next video down your throat, then check out my new streaming service, subscribe2.me. All my videos get published there early, and I have a new D&D show over there too, so if you like tabletop RPGs and you want a good laugh, check it out. We have a YouTube channel here as well for that, and it's going to be up here in the corner, but every episode debuts a week early over on subscribe2.me. So late last Thursday, Valve released a new stable SteamOS update, and it included some interesting features and new improvements. First, let's talk about the new features. The brightness of the LED on the top of the deck can now be adjusted, thankfully. Under the settings display section, you'll now find a slider that can adjust the brightness of this LED, and this is a long-awaited feature since the status LED can illuminate a dark room all by itself. They've also added a new frame timing plot in the level 4 performance overlay, and this shows timings of when frames are flipped to the display rather than application-side rendering times. And this is a useful metric which should help diagnose graphic pipeline issues. They've improved performance in the compositor and reduced stuttering for FSR and NIS under high GPU load. They've improved gamut mapping for HDR titles on the deck OLED, and they've made several improvements to Steam input. This includes the controller's lizard mode for scenarios where Steam isn't running, including vertical and horizontal scrolling on the left trackpad. They've also fixed a whole bunch of stuff, increasing the stability of the deck. There were multiple game-specific fixes. They improved Wi-Fi reliability and improved GPU crash handling. They fixed HDR output via DisplayPort and incorrect color gamuts using in-home streaming, as well as addressing several USB device compatibility issues. Overall, this was another evolutionary update for SteamOS, and it seems like one that's aimed at long-term reliability of the operating system. Well, I think that's everything that I wanted to touch on this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you get subscribed and check out subscribe2.me. It's all greatly appreciated. I want to thank my patrons for their continued support of this channel, and with that, I'll see you next Monday.